Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a Tier 8 game in my Tier 7 Atlanta. Going over the matchmaking, got a North Carolina, Bismarck, Duke of York, Gneisenau, Cleveland, Fiji, York, Dallas, Perth, Minsk, Monaghan, and a Gaeta rounding out the enemy ships. The map is Trident, 3-cap domination. And we're going to get this thing started. So, pulled this video. This was another really good example of playing US cruisers. This one, obviously more the light cruiser end of it. And kind of the key moment in this game, which turns this from a good game into, you know, a really good game, is understanding when I overextend and basically disengaging. Now this is a mistake here for the Mahan. DDs, get the hell out of your cruiser's way. These guys are squishy ships. If this had been a CV in the matchmaking, I already could have been detected under fire from battleships that overmatch me from any angle. These squishy ships have priority to get into cover. You know, there's absolutely no reason to basically get in your cruiser's way, and you shouldn't. So I basically slowed down, let the Mahan go past, got an enemy DD on cap, and I wait till I get detected, pop radar, and I spot the Monaghan. And I'm just going to start shooting. Now, he's instantly able to turn away, so it's unlikely that I'm really going to get much in the way of good, solid damage in there, but it gets him off the cap. Now, I do have fast-firing guns. I am going to just keep throwing shots out there. You know, maybe land some hits. And I do pick up a couple hits off my blind shots, but the Perth pops up. That's a better target, so I just go ahead and switch fire. Now, my Mahan went and smoked up, and he's just sitting in his smoke. Actually, he's being radared right now, but you don't want to do that. I mean, at least the enemy DD was sitting parallel to me, so when I radared him, he just had to turn out and drive out. Our Mahan, he had to complete the turn of death and turn a full 180 degrees around to try to get away. Now, understand, my job here is twofold. Number one, secure the cap with, or defend the cap with radar. Number two, get as much DPM as I can into the enemy so, you know, they're not able to, you know, basically do what this guy's doing. This Cleveland's overextending. I'm trying to punish him right now because he's going to kill my DD here shortly. He's going to kill himself in the process, or really cripple himself. But you know, it's my job to really go to town on these targets, and you can see just from this position, you know, that I've got pretty solid fields of fire for anything trying to push out past into the three line in and around the cap. I see the Duke of York pushing up, and just like the video I did with the New Orleans, I don't really want to tackle battleships head on. I want to, you know, I just want to club these guys, just farm them, and not let these guys shoot at me at all. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna back up. I see he's pushing into the cap. He probably knows there's no DD here. I'm just gonna push in there and tank and try to just flip this cap that way. And at this point, my Monarch's pushing up. I know there's not a battleship over on the 2 and 3 line, so it's either the Monahan or it's one of the light cruisers. Turns out it's the Perth. And if he wants to shoot at me, go on ahead, shoot at me. I've got higher DPM than the Perth, and you know, I got a target that I can be really effective on right here, and I'm just gonna, you know, work this Duke of York over. Now, one of the issues for the Perth, he's got a battleship in his face, so he ends up smoking up, and that actually turns to my favor, where at the end of that engagement, I was able to just blind fire, or stealth fire right into that Duke of York, and nobody was able to shoot at me. Now, at this point, I see that my team's pushing through, and I'm looking. I don't see any battleships nearby, so I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to take this gamble of leaving this position, try to help my team cap, because our Dallas, he was low health and going down. Our Monarch, he's probably not going to be able to cap because he's constantly going to be visible. He's going to be, you know, constantly reset, and he's a squishy ship. You know, Cleveland dropped off. I went on ahead, I popped radar just on the offhand chance that this Monarch gets a shot on this guy. He doesn't have to wait until he's actually spotting him. He's, you know, just got radar in his face. And that'll also lock down the Cleveland and keep him from pushing up. Now, I do make a misplay here. I should not have came past this island. I should have, you know, tried to use this island position to shoot this Bismarck as he pushed up. I was hoping to get into more of this island position down here, but the Bismarck, he's just coming too fast. So I'm going on ahead and still just, I know I'm going to get shot here. I see the guns coming around. I start angling in. But this guy overmatches me, and you're going to see that right here. One shot, you know, one Citadel, you know, it's light cruisers caught in the open like this. I'm not going to, you know, try not to just hang out there where he can shoot me again. I'm going to duck in behind the island. Now we've got this Monahan that is pushing up, trying to YOLO. And yes, I do have the dinosaurs on my lap. Number 2 is on my lap, and he's going absolutely haywire. So that's why the screen's jumping around a bit. I'm trying to keep him from beating the keyboard to death with both hands. Come out around the island a little much now. What I'm gonna do, I didn't want to hug that island because that Bismarck would just come around and nail me. I basically baited the Bismarck, making him think that I was gonna turn back around the island. Now this is the moment in time that I'm talking about, where I know I'm overextended. It's me and this Fubuki, and against a Bismarck, a Dallas, this North Carolina can shoot at me. There's nothing good here with me picking this fight. I've got 7k HP. You know, this is one of those things. This is when you need to disengage. You look, I've got 55,000 damage, you know, an assisted base capture. You know, this is, you know, fairly solid Atlanta performance as far as the server's concerned. But, you know, being patient, you can do better. And how I do better is I try to move into a better position. And part of that, well, the largest part of that entails is me living. And so I'm just going to go on ahead and I'm waiting for this Bismarck to shoot again, and I'm gonna juke. At this point, he's more than 10 kilometers away. You know, I do get a little lucky here with that RNG where he straddles me. But it is also a secondary spec Bismarck beyond 10 kilometers too. So, you know, there's pros and cons there. And at this point, I've dropped off and I'm just disengaging. In the situation, we have all three caps. I know these guys are going to have to push in. And so what I'm looking to do, I'm looking to try to use this island against this Bismarck, is he's inevitably going to have to turn up um, and in to try to push a cap. And I'm waiting for that opportunity. My gun range, you know, everybody complains my Fubuki's AFK, so I can't count on him to do anything other than spot, but it sets this play up nicely. Now, one of the common complaints about Atlanta is, oh, the gun range is so short. And you got to think like a destroyer. I'm honestly debating dropping AFT on it, and treating it like a closer range cruiser, just because with the gun bloom mechanics, you drop off concealment so quickly that you would actually probably be able to open water gunboat better without AFT than you do with AFT. Just my opinion. But if you're going to work islands like I'm doing here, AFT probably the better build. With an AA build, you know, AFT it's all right. Manual AA, I think you're going to get a better bang for your buck. But at this point, the play I'm setting up, I'm using the AFK Fubuki just as a spotter. Keep this guy lit, and I'm just going to just start working this Bismarck over. And again, that short gun range, nobody can see me. Nobody has line of sight within my max gun range. There I popped M. I just wanted to get a visual on, you know, what angle this Bismarck was actually traveling. I see that he's completed his turn into the cap, and I'm just really gonna start hammering this guy. As the Bismarck comes around the island, I basically had timed my acceleration. He gets his guns on target, he goes to shoot, and I'm safe. I did get an unrepairable fire on him, so this Bismarck is going to burn down. No need to hang out. Just driving away and let the fire do its job. Now, again, I know the battleships are going to have to push in. There's no need for me to, you know, overextend. We've got, you know, plenty of points, plenty of caps. You know, just play the waiting game. If they're just going to run away, just take the win. So here, setting up again to terraform another island. And I mean, if you look at some of these ranges, it's not often that you're working beyond 11 kilometers in a lot of these situations. You know, obviously certain maps are more suited for a non-AFT Atlanta than others, but you can get by. Now here I'm just taking blind shots out there. When your reload is basically this fast, shells are cheap. Just keep slinging them. Do get a spot on the North Carolina, and again, just gonna work this ship over. Points are ticking down, and you know this North Carolina, he decided not to even attempt to push B cap because he was under fire. Points are gonna run down. I do pick up a fire here. And we end the game with 105k. So it was that moment in time really that allowed me to take this game from a decent game to a pretty good game. And that's one of the lessons that I wanted to drive home with this video. Know when to disengage, know when you're overextended. 2k base XP, you know, that's solid XP and you know, just about any case, especially if you're not top tier. Can see for 7 fires, not a lot of fire damage on these battleships. I didn't get to really farm them too much. They were able to get some repairs off and kind of limit that damage quite a bit. But nevertheless, pretty effective game. For those that were interested in seeing, you know, the earning potential of Atlanta, here's this screen. Did have a 19-point captain, so that's, you know, almost 12k elite commander XP. And yeah, if you're looking for just a fun ship to blast around in, Atlanta's absolutely hysterical. Uh, a well-played Atlanta is one of the most annoying ships that you can face as well. Uh, you know, if you were paying attention to chat, this game did have somebody accusing me of being a coward. And it's usually you know, some dimwit that is in a battleship that completely overmatches me from every single angle, trying to, they're usually the ones laying that allegation that, you know, a light cruiser that's not going to come out like a man and face them toe to toe when they have guns, you know, 3-4 times the size of, you know, your guns. You know, they've got armor, you know, 3-4 times as much or as thick, you know, twice your hit point pool. You know, it's a bit silly, and it's really fun to get those people wound up just with peppering the hell out of them, and there's nothing they can do about it other than run. So again, this is Atlanta. Another good representation of a U.S. light cruiser game. Not as much AP play, simply because your AP, you got to be pretty close to really make that work. Uh, Now with Atlanta, there is the potential for plunging fire with your AP um, at, you know, 10 kilometers and out on battleships and things like that. But in general, I find that HE is better at longer ranges, just more consistent with the fire damage potential. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. If you got any questions, leave them below, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night.